This is Jeannie at Tree, and today I'm going to show you how to make this Easter wreath using this cute little denim bunny hat. We made it on a 24-inch work wreath. All the supplies came from Tree, and we have some burlap Easter eggs from Wreath, and then just some assorted ribbons and a wreath bow. Okay? Just stay tuned and we'll show you how to do it. I have several different things picked out to use on this wreath. I'm not sure which ones we'll use yet. I've got several choices of ribbon and maybe some flowers. And I've got this denim bunny hat. And we're going to start with a burlap work wreath. And we have this frayed edge 21-inch burlap mesh. This mesh is a combination of poly and burlap, and it's frayed on each end. I'll give you the list of supplies in the tutorial. The 24-inch work wreath actually measures, the largest of the metal rings measures about 15 inches, but with the twist and the addition of product, you wind up with a wreath that measures 24 to 30 inches in width. So the first thing we're going to do is just separate our twist and get those ready. And then we're going to use this frayed edge burlap. This is a combination of poly jute and poly and jute. It has a poly, which is like a plastic base, and then it has these jute threads, and it's frayed on each side. It's about a 2.5 inch fray. We're going to take the mesh and gather about 3 or 4 inches from the end. Just pinch it together in a handful. And we're going to start on the outside of the wreath, outside twist. Open up a twist, put the mesh in, and just give it a couple of turns. Now we're not going to close that twist 3 or 4 times yet because we're going to add in some ribbons when we're done, before we're done. And we're just going to take that raw edge of that mesh and tuck it to the inside. Now we're going to make our poofs 14 inches. So we just take a tape measure and measure 14 inches. And then gather across that mesh. Just put your hand under it, fluff that poof out a little bit, and then go to the next twist and secure it with a couple of turns. Measure 14 inches, and we're just going to continue to work around the wreath until we have a poof in every twist. We've worked our way around back to our starting point, which was this first twist right here. So next we're going to do our 14-inch measurement. Gather up our mesh. And we're going to open that twist where we started. Make sure that the poof doesn't slip out. And we're going to lay the mesh right down on top of that last poof. And secure. We're not going to cut our mesh, we're just going to take it and we're going to move up to the inner ring to the closest twist, which will be right there. We're just going to pull that mesh up. Bring it up to that twist. Secure it, and then we're going to get our 14-inch measurement and just continue working around that inner ring. Just go to the next twist. We're going to measure. And just work on around the wreath on the inner ring. Now we've gotten all the way around our inner ring and we're back to our starting point, and we're going to do connect that last poof just like we did the outer ring. We're going to open up that twist, make sure our poof stays in place. We're going to lay this last poof down right on top of that, and then re-secure with a couple of ties, a couple of twists, and now we're ready to end off our mesh. So we're going to cut our mesh at this point and leave a tail of 4 or 5 inches. I'm going to take that tail and just poke it to the inside. Flip the wreath over. We're going to find our 2 tails. There's our ending tail, and there's our beginning tail. And we're just going to kind of twist those together. Going to take a zip tie and go around the wire ring and catch those 2 ends and just zip tie them together to that metal ring so your ends won't pop out. Just take your wire cutters and cut that zip tie. You always want to be sure and push your zip tie ends toward the inside so that it won't scratch your door or anything. Okay? Now, we've gone all the way around our wreath with the poofs on the inner and the outer ring. Next, we're going to sort of try to decide where we want to put our embellishments. Our primary focal piece is going to be this denim bunny hat with ears. And I stuffed some mesh. You can do tissue paper. I just stuffed some mesh on the inside to make that stand up a little bit. And I think we can secure this with floral wire. And I think probably what we'll do is sort of put it in the center of the wreath, like that. And then we have some burlap Easter eggs. We may use those in clusters around. I have 6 of those. Some ribbon. The first thing we'll do is start with our ribbon clusters. We have this burlap ribbon that has the denim and blue striped center. And this is actually like a coral or a salmon color. And then I have some black and white polka dot. If we need more color, I've also picked out some ladybug ribbon in yellow with some red burlap. So I don't know if we'll use that or not, but we're going to start with some ribbon strips or clusters of ribbon. Before we start cutting our ribbons, I always like to just take some scrap ribbon and do some test pieces. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can put ribbons on. You can just do ribbon strips, or you can make like a little bow cluster like that. And I think, since I really want my orange to show up good, I'm going to make a little bow cluster and then put some little ribbon strips, and then probably just take this denim and do ribbon strips out of it. So this was my test bow. So let me see how many inches that turned out. 34 inches. So on our ribbon, this is 2.5 inches by 10 yards. So we should be able to get 10 clusters. That won't be enough to put a cluster in every twist. So we'll start out doing a bow cluster in every other twist. And then my ribbon strip that I'm going to put on top of that is about 12 inches. So we'll cut our 1.5 inch ribbon, the black and white, into 12-inch strips and layer on top of that bow. our ribbon is wired, and we want to chevron the ends of that ribbon, so I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to fold it again lengthwise, and then I'm going to cut on that folded edge away from me. Okay. Now, to make our bow, we're going to pinch it about 6 inches from the end. And this ribbon is the same on both sides, but I'm going to twist it. Well, I'm going to make my loop, and then I'm going to twist it, bring another loop up, and we have our bow. So we're going to just open up a twist. It's very important that you open up a twist. Don't let your poof come out, and then lay your bow or your ribbon strip down on top of that, and then just twist it back. I'm just going to give it a twist or two, 1 or 2 twists right now to hold it, because I'm going to make another ribbon strip to go on top of that. And I'm going to do this one 12 inches. We're going to chevron those ends the same way. Just pinch it up in the center, gather it in the center. Now I'm going to open my twist back up, lay the black and white polka dot ribbon down on top of that, and then I'm going to retwist. Now this time I'm going to give it 3 or 4 twists, because right now that's the last item that I'm planning to put in that cluster. Now, you know, we may change that before we're completely done, but that's what I'm going to start out with. Sometimes you start with your ribbon pattern and you get all the way done and you change your mind and you have to regroup and do something else. That's happened to us a time or two. Okay, so we're going to continue with that pattern. We're going to go around in every other twist with one of these bows. I have 4 ribbon clusters around the inner ring, and then I have 5 on the outer ring, and I have 1 more left over, so I'm going to just add in another one in this area. Next we have our denim and burlap ribbon. I'm going to cut this in 12 inches and just make ribbon strips. Going to chevron the ends of those ribbons also. Ooh, that's kind of thick, so I'll just do it one end at a time. Now I'm going to start out and just take your ribbon strip, pinch it in the center. It is kind of bulky. And then I'm going to start in every twist where I don't have a ribbon. I'm going to add in one of these strips. Now right now I'm just going to give that twist a couple of twists, because I might add in more. I'm just not sure yet. But I'm going to go around my wreath with that denim ribbon. I think that it needs a little more of the denim ribbon, and I think it needs a little more contrast. So I'm going to add in some ribbon strips of this yellow and red ladybug ribbon. I think that'll give it a little more color. And I do like the addition, I do like the little burlap Easter eggs. I think I'll use those in the clusters in a couple of areas. And then we'll secure those, and we'll secure the hat. But I'm going to go ahead and add in some more ribbon clusters right now. I'm just going to take my denim ribbon and use the ladybug ribbon. These are all 12-inch ribbon strips, and also the black and white polka dot. You can layer these, alternate any way that you want to, and just put in as much ribbon or as little as you want. So we're going to try that and see what that yellow does. And then you can just open up your twist, put your ribbon in, and then just kind of spread it out. Okay, we're going to try that and see how that works. I like the addition of the yellow ribbon, and I still have plenty of the yellow ribbon with the ladybugs, and still plenty of the denim ribbon. Excuse me. The denim ribbon and the polka knot. So polka knot and the polka dot. So I'm going to go back in and I'm just going to cut some random strips and maybe add in the ladybug or denim strip, and I'm just going to add in more ribbons here and there. And like I say, you can do these ribbons any way that you want to, but it always seems like, you know, when I start out with a pattern that I'm going to work, I wind up doing something different. But I really like the yellow ladybug, so I'm going to go back and add in some more of it. I'll probably add in some of all three different kinds. Now when I go back and add in extra ribbon to my first little cluster that I made with my with the little bow, I'm going to open that twist, and sometimes with this mesh you'll get things kind of tangled up and you'll have to just clip strings every now and then. But I'm going to take my bow out and put the ladybug ribbon on the bottom, and I'll do the same thing when I use some of the denim. I'll open up the twist, take the bow out, and put the other ribbon on the bottom. Let's just give it a little more fullness, a little more color. Okay, we've added our ribbon strips, and we have enough ribbon in the ladybug and the denim that if you wanted to make a bow, you could. And next we're going to attach our hat. Now I stuffed just some scrap mesh to the inside. You could use tissue paper, and this is just cloth and cardboard. I think we can just run a small floral wire through that fabric and attach that wire directly to the work wreath frame. To secure the hat, we ran a little floral wire through the fabric toward the top of the hat on the back. You may want to secure your hat in more than one place, and you may have to hang it on the wall to, you know, determine the best way to secure that. But you can also use fishing line and go around the brim, or you can put in like a safety pin through that fabric and then secure a zip tie through that safety pin. Just secure it to the work wreath frame. Now we're going to use these 6 little burlap Easter eggs, and the easiest way to attach them would be just to hot glue them in. But we're not going to use hot glue. I'm going to wire mine in with a little piece of floral wire, and we're just going to cluster maybe like 3 eggs sort of at the top of the wreath, and maybe the other 3 down at the bottom. Got to go back and fluff our ribbons, and then since we're going to have the eggs on this side, the hat in the center, then I think I'm going to make a bow with my remaining maybe both of these ribbons or one ribbon, and we're going to put a bow toward the bottom right of the wreath. Now if you don't want to use hot glue either, you can also just take the burlap eggs and just pull those strings together. I like using a cluster of about 3 versus using the individuals or anything, and just kind of twist those together, and then just take a floral wire, or you could use a chenille stem and go around that. And then just take your whole cluster and attach your wire to the work wreath frame. Well, there's our wreath after we finished it. It measures about 32 inches in width. We did the 2 little clusters of the burlap Easter eggs from Raz, and added just a wreath bow. And you can always add in extra ribbon strips if you think you need to add more contrast or anything, or you see a gap or anywhere that needs a little more color. Always flip your wreath over to the back. Check for any rough edges or anything that you might need to cover up so it won't scratch your door or your wall. But that's pretty much it. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss our next video coming out. We have several more spring items that we're going to do. And be sure and visit us at Trendy Tree. We sell all sorts of ribbon, mesh, wreath, work wreaths, all different sizes and shapes, and just lots of things that you can use for crafting. Thanks for dropping in. See you next time. Bye.